In the quiet town where I spent my childhood, dreams bloomed like wildflowers, innocent and colorful. I remember gazing at the glossy pages of fashion magazines, imagining myself draped in elegant dresses and surrounded by a world of abundance. However, the reality was starkly different. Our family struggled with limited financial resources, a fact that became apparent in the simplest of things: cheap clothes, absence of fancy dolls, and the lack of delectable treats. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over our modest home, I approached my mother with wide-eyed curiosity. "Mom, why don't we have the things others do?" I asked, oblivious to the complexities of life's financial intricacies. She sighed, her eyes reflecting both wariness and determination. "Money is not as abundant as our dreams, sweetheart. We have to be mindful of our expenses," she explained, ruffling my hair with a gentle smile. From that moment on, the disparity between my childhood dreams and the harsh reality of our financial situation became increasingly apparent. The ache for beautiful possessions and indulgent treats grew within me, fueled by a naive desire for a life beyond the constraints of our means. As the years passed, the whispers of my dreams intertwined with the everyday struggles of our family. I'd overhear my mother on the phone, negotiating bills and carefully budgeting for the essentials. In those moments, the weight of her responsibilities became tangible. One day, after a particularly trying afternoon of hand-me-down clothes and longing glances at store shelves, I couldn't contain my frustration. "Why can't we have what others have? It's not fair," I exclaimed, my voice echoing through the small apartment. My mother, her eyes reflecting both exhaustion and resilience, knelt beside me. "Sweetheart, life isn't always about what we want. It's about what we need. We have responsibilities, including financial ones," she explained, attempting to impart a lesson in a language a child could comprehend. As I stomped my feet in a fit of juvenile indignation, she sighed, "One day, you'll understand." Little did I know that her words would become the seeds of my journey, a journey marked by the pursuit of dreams, the clash with financial realities, and the eventual discovery that true wealth transcends material possessions. The transition from adolescence to adulthood brought with it a sense of urgency, a desire to break free from the financial constraints that had colored my childhood. At the age of 18, armed with a freshly printed resume and a nervous yet determined heart, I ventured into the world of employment. It was time to give substance to the dreams that had lingered in the recesses of my mind. The interview process was nerve-wracking, a delicate dance between hope and uncertainty. Finally, the phone call came, ushering in both excitement and trepidation. "You got the job," the voice on the other end declared, and in that moment, the weight of newfound responsibility settled on my shoulders. The first day at work was a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The office, with its buzzing energy and air of professionalism, felt like a different universe compared to the familiar comfort of my childhood home. As I navigated through the sea of cubicles, my supervisor, a seasoned professional with a warm smile, welcomed me to the team. "Welcome aboard. We're thrilled to have you," she said, extending a handshake that symbolized the beginning of my journey into the world of financial independence. As the weeks passed, the reality of adulthood unfolded before me. The paycheck that landed in my hands was both a liberation and a revelation. The meager sum had to be stretched across various obligations, bills, groceries, and the occasional treat that whispered of the childhood dreams still alive within me. One evening, as I scrutinized my budget, my mother noticed the furrowed lines on my forehead. "What's on your mind, dear?" she asked, a mix of concern and curiosity in her eyes. I sighed, realizing that the dreams I once harbored as a child were now tethered to the weight of responsibility. "It's just that the money disappears so quickly. I thought having a job would make everything easier," I admitted, a hint of disappointment in my voice. She sat beside me, a comforting presence in the midst of financial uncertainties. "Earning money is just the first step, my love. Managing it wisely is the journey. It's not always about having a lot. It's about making the most of what you have." Those words lingered, a guiding principle as I navigated the intricacies of financial independence. Each payday became a lesson in prioritizing needs over wants, a balancing act between the dreams of my past and the responsibilities of my present. In the silence of my apartment, as I tallied expenses and pondered the delicate dance of income and outflow, I realized that the first step towards independence was not merely about earning money. It was about understanding its value and learning to wield it wisely. One fateful day, a March breeze filled with the promise of spring carried a sense of anticipation. My mother and I strolled through the bustling aisles of a shopping mall, the artificial lights illuminating rows of enticing storefronts. It was a rare excursion, a break from the routine, and the air hummed with a quiet excitement. As we passed by elegant boutiques adorned with exquisite dresses, my eyes were drawn to a particular one, a shop that seemed to hold the essence of dreams in its sparkling windows. A particular dress caught my attention, an embodiment of grace and sophistication. With a gentle nudge, I convinced my mother to enter, curious to explore the possibility of turning dreams into reality. The sales assistant greeted us with a practiced smile, unaware that this visit would mark a turning point. My mother, ever practical and mindful of budget constraints, guided me towards the more affordable sections. But my eyes remained fixated on that one dress, a manifestation of the childhood dreams that had lingered within me. "I think you should try it on, Mom," I suggested, my excitement bubbling to the surface. My mother hesitated, her gaze flitting between the dress and the price tag. "It's beautiful, but it's beyond what we can afford, sweetheart," she explained, a tinge of regret in her voice. Determined, I looked into her eyes and said, "Let's just try it. You deserve something special." With a hint of reluctance, she agreed, and I rushed to find the sales assistant. "Could my mother try on that dress?" I asked, pointing towards the object of my admiration. The assistant, sensing the sincerity in my request, led us to a fitting room adorned with flattering lights and full-length mirrors. My mother, ever gracious, donned the dress, and as she twirled before the mirror, a gasp of admiration escaped her lips. The radiance in her eyes reflected a beauty that surpassed the embellishments of the dress. Then, the moment of truth arrived. My mother checked the price tag, her expression shifting from awe to resignation. "I'm afraid it's beyond our budget," she said, gently placing the dress back on its hanger. Unbeknownst to her, I had prepared for this moment. "Mom, just give me a moment," I said, excusing myself with a smile. In a rush, I entered the store once more, a determined glint in my eyes. With a conversation and a few swipes of my card, I secured the dress and arranged for it to be kept until evening. The seed of an idea had sprouted into action, driven by the desire to transform a mundane day into an unforgettable one. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow on our living room, I presented the wrapped box to my mother. Her curiosity turned to astonishment as she unveiled the dress, a tangible symbol of love, sacrifice, and the fulfillment of dreams. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "But you spent all your savings on this." With a smile, I responded, "Happiness isn't measured in money, Mom. Today my happiness is seeing your eyes shine. You deserve this and so much more." In that moment, the gift became more than a dress. It became a catalyst for change. It shattered the boundaries of financial limitations, unveiling the true worth of selfless gestures and the profound impact they could have on the spirit. The chapter closed with the understanding that sometimes the most priceless gifts are those that money cannot buy: love, thoughtfulness, and the sheer joy of making someone else happy. After the corporate event, the echoes of that magical night were in the air, lighting up our house. The dress, once a symbol of unattainable elegance, has become evidence of the hidden generosity and transformative power of selfless actions. I had no idea that the impact of this gift would go beyond its material presence, reaching the very essence of our relationship. The days turned into weeks, and the routine of life returned to normal. And yet there was an undeniable shift in the atmosphere, a subtle change in the way my mother and I interacted. The walls of financial constraints that once held us back seemed to have collapsed, giving way to a newfound understanding and shared recognition of the depth of our bond. One evening, as we were sitting on the couch sipping tea, my mother looked at me with a thoughtful look. "You know, what you did with the dress was so thoughtful. I still can't believe you sacrificed so much for me," she confessed, her eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and curiosity. I smiled, realizing that the gift had opened the door to conversations that went beyond the usual exchange of opinions on a superficial level. "Mom, it wasn't a sacrifice. It was a choice that I would make again without hesitation. Your happiness means more to me than anything else." Her expression softened, and a subtle warmth enveloped the room. "I never realized how much you've grown, not only in age, but also in understanding. You have become someone I can rely on, someone with whom I can share both joy and difficulties." The dress, which originally represented momentary pleasure, became a catalyst for a deeper connection. Our dialogues have moved from the practicality of everyday life to the intricacies of our dreams, fears, and aspirations. The boundaries that once limited our discussions have expanded, creating a safe space where vulnerabilities can be shared without fear of condemnation. Over the years, when we looked through the family photo album, memories of the past intertwined with the present. "Do you remember that dress?" I teased with a playful twinkle in my eyes. Her laughter echoed through the room as she nodded. "How could I forget? It was more than a dress. It was a symbol of your love and the beginning of something beautiful between us." The conversation flowed easily, intertwining with the tapestry of our common history. The dress, which has become a dear memory, has become a cornerstone in the development of our relationship. It was a reminder that sometimes the most important gifts are not those wrapped in beautiful paper, but those that reveal the depth of emotion and understanding. As the chapter came to an end, our bond blossomed into something beyond the ordinary. It was a relationship transformed by a simple but profound act of generosity, a gift that transcended material boundaries and sowed the seeds for a deeper, meaningful bond between a mother and her daughter. In the wake of the transformative gift and the deepening of our mother-daughter relationship, a new chapter unfolded, one marked by a shift in perspective and an exploration of the true meaning of prosperity. The dress, once a symbol of financial sacrifice, became a catalyst for a paradigm shift, leading me to reassess the very notion of wealth and abundance. As the weeks turned into months, the lessons embedded in that simple yet significant act of generosity began to take root. It was no longer just about material wealth. It was about the richness of experiences, the abundance of love, and the prosperity that emanates from a heart filled with gratitude. One evening, as we sat on the balcony, watching the sun dip below the horizon, my mother broke the comfortable silence. "You know, prosperity isn't just about having a lot of money. It's about appreciating what you have and using it wisely," she remarked, her gaze fixed on the fading sunlight. I nodded, realizing that the journey towards true prosperity was a nuanced one, influenced by the interplay of values, gratitude, and the choices we make. I've been thinking a lot about it. The dress, the sacrifices. I've learned that there's more to wealth than what's in our bank accounts, I confessed. She turned towards me, her eyes reflecting both wisdom and pride. "Exactly. Prosperity is a state of mind. It's about finding joy in the little things, appreciating the people around you, and using your resources to make a positive impact." In the subsequent weeks, our conversations veered towards exploring the concept of prosperity in its various dimensions. We delved into the importance of financial responsibility, the joy of giving, and the fulfillment derived from enriching the lives of others. One day, as we strolled through a local park, surrounded by the vibrant hues of nature, I shared my newfound perspective. I've realized that true prosperity is about creating a life that aligns with our values and brings fulfillment. It's not just about accumulating wealth for its own sake, I mused. She smiled, a knowing glint in her eyes. "You've grown into someone who understands the true essence of prosperity. It's a journey, my love, and you're on the right path." The lessons learned from that single act of generosity rippled through our lives, leading to a shift in priorities and a focus on building a life that reflected our values. The dress, now a symbol of prosperity in its multifaceted forms, served as a daily reminder that wealth, in its truest sense, lay in the intangibles: love, compassion, and a sense of purpose. As the chapter drew to a close, the narrative shifted from sacrifice to prosperity, a prosperity that emanated not just from financial gains, but from a heart attuned to gratitude, generosity, and the joy derived from uplifting those around us. The dress, once a marker of a sacrifice, became a beacon guiding us towards a life rich in meaning and abundant in the currency of the heart. In the aftermath of a journey marked by dreams, sacrifices, and the transformative power of generosity, Luisa's story left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who witnessed it. The epilogue serves as a beacon of inspiration, illuminating the path to a life rich in purpose and joy. As Luisa stood at the intersection of dreams and realities, she found that the true measure of happiness wasn't quantifiable in monetary terms. The tapestry of her experiences painted a picture of prosperity woven with threads of love, compassion, and a deep understanding of the human spirit. One day, as she and her mother sat in the comfort of their home, surrounded by the echoes of shared laughter and quiet moments, Luisa reflected on the evolution of their journey. "You know, Mom, I used to think prosperity was all about money. But now I see it's about the wealth we create within ourselves and share with others," she shared, her eyes reflecting the wisdom gained from their shared experiences. Her mother nodded in agreement, a smile playing on her lips. True prosperity is the richness we cultivate in our hearts. It's the joy we find in giving, the strength we derive from resilience, and the fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with our values. Their dialogues echoed the epiphany that had become the cornerstone of their lives. Through trials and triumphs, Luisa learned that prosperity wasn't a destination, but a continual journey, one that unfolded with each act of kindness, each moment of gratitude, and each choice to embrace the fullness of life. In the glow of their shared understanding, Luisa concluded, "Our wealth isn't just in what we have, but in who we've become." The dress as sacrifices, they were just catalysts for a more profound understanding of prosperity. As the story came to a close, the motivational epilogue left a lasting impression, a reminder that true abundance is born from the richness of the soul and the generosity of the heart. Luisa's journey was not just hers. It became a source of inspiration for anyone seeking a life defined by purpose, love, and the enduring legacy of selfless acts. The epilogue served as a call to embrace the transformative power within and, in turn, become architects of a life overflowing with prosperity in its truest and most fulfilling form.